Windsor's mayor is weighing in on a local trial. He's providing a community impact statement, something some in the legal community are questioning. What's life in a border town when you can't cross the border? It's different and sad for some, but there is a bright side too. We'll tell you more about how some Windsorites are dealing with their border separation anxiety. A live look at our city there. It's been a cloudy one today, some snow on and off, temperatures sitting close to 0 all day long, and we've got some possible flurries ahead. Colette Kennedy will bring us your full forecast later in the program. I'm Katerina Georgieva. Chris is away. We begin tonight with concerns over the mayor's involvement in a local trial. In 2017, Sarah Ann Whitholm was attacked and beaten on the Ganacho Trail. She died a year later. A Windsor man was convicted of second-degree murder in her death. And during the sentencing hearing for the man last week, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens took an unusual step for someone in his position. He weighed in on the trial. The move is raising some eyebrows in the legal community. Jacob Barker has been looking into this, and he joins me now live. Jacob, tell us more about the statement that the mayor made.
Well, friends and family are invited to submit victim impact statements. In this case, the mayor gave what's called a community impact statement, stating how the broader community was affected by the crime. This one was printed on city letterhead, and the mayor said it was on behalf of the entire city he was elected to lead. In it, the mayor spoke about being profoundly affected by the incident, which left Sarah Ann Whitholm in hospital, where she eventually died. In October of 2017, now 24-year-old Daniel Ahmadi brutally attacked and beat the 75-year-old Whitholm on the Ganacho Trail. Ahmadi admitted to using cannabis and magic mushrooms on the day of the murder. He was found guilty of second-degree murder in December. Dilkens says he approached the Crown with the idea of submitting the letter.
She's a lady I've never met, but that particular event had a profound impact on me. I know it had a profound impact on many in the community, and I wanted to make sure that the court understood what that impact was when reflecting on the sentence for the defendant.
So, Jacob, who exactly is taking issue with the statement?
Well, first of all, Ahmadi's defense lawyer sought to have it thrown out. The sentence for second-degree murder is predetermined to be a life sentence with a minimum of 10 years before he can be considered for parole. So what Justice Thomas can determine is when he can be eligible for parole after that minimum period. Brown pointed out one part of the statement where the mayor says things like this just don't happen in Windsor, which she called misleading.
Could lead a person or an Ontario parole board that's reviewing Mr. Ahmadi's case to potentially perceive that this is so heinous and so egregious that this doesn't happen here. And all I did was a quick Google search, Windsor senior attack violence. And yes, Ahmadi's case comes up, but also so does other cases in our jurisdiction.
Crown lawyer Renee Puskas declined an interview, but in court she said she found nothing wrong with that particular sentence as it was in parentheses. And Justice Thomas ultimately decided to allow the entire statement.
So, Jacob, how often do things like this happen in criminal proceedings?
Well, Kat, mayors interjecting in criminal trials is not common. Even Dilkens said it was a unique thing for a mayor to do. Two lawyers I spoke with question the contents of his statement.
For the mayor to speak in an official role as the government, the local government, mind you, about the nature of that crime and how its impact on the community should affect the sentence that young man serves really seemed pretty stunning to me. It seems to fly in the face of all the protections we have in our Charter of Rights that protect people who are charged with crimes from having to face more than already they're up against the police and the Crown and the courts. Now they're up against the mayor too.
This accused person, this, I guess, convicted person at this point, was on drugs. And what effect does drugs have in our community? Like, where is that in the impact statement that something needs to be done in our community to address the upsurge of drug use and homelessness and things that really affect these kinds of criminal activities occurring?
So what does the mayor have to say about the criticism?
Well, Kat, none of it seemed to change the mayor's perspective. He says this crime was unique, it was a senseless act, and what he wrote is a true reflection of how the broader community feels.
If I felt a profound impact in this way for any other criminal action that happened in the city, I would feel just the same about writing a community impact statement for that as well.
Justice Thomas is still considering how to deal with Ahmadi's sentencing. He says that he doesn't intend to give the mayor's statement more value than it's worth or be distracted by it. Kat?
Thanks for breaking that down for us, Jacob. The CBC's Jacob Barker reporting live. Let's turn now to the latest on COVID-19 in Windsor, Essex. The health unit says we're seeing some positive trends for the region, though it's just a start and it needs to be sustained in order for things to turn around. That said, reported cases have been wildly different the past 3 days. Saturday, 87 cases, Sunday, 270, and today, 35. The medical officer of health offered one possible explanation.
We are seeing a day-to-day fluctuations in the case counts, and I'm sure many of you are wondering if this is an error. At this point, I don't have any official notification from the labs about any planned delays in reporting, but it is possible due to the high volume, test results are prioritized in a different way.
Now, if you felt a little out of sorts today, you might be able to pin it all on Blue Monday. Normally, it's known as the most depressing day of the year, but in the middle of a pandemic, local residents are doing what they can to stay optimistic.
Sometimes I go for a walk, but I like it when the sun is up. Usually not every day the sun is up, but sometimes, yeah, I like to go for a walk to cheer me up.
Right now, so I wake up, do schoolwork in the morning, and then I'm physically active for a couple times a day. I live over in Walkerville, so I walk to the bridge and back, and it gets me out.
Yes, we are sad because it's Corona, right?
Yeah.
And we are sad about that. We can go anywhere, difficult to go. Just coming to shopping and go home and go work and come back, that's it.
Always go for a walk right with the beautiful riverfront. Listen to music, always can hop on the video games and see my friends then. But yeah, just try to find those small things that make me happy that can pay off in the long run.
Try and do the best I can, try to go out to walk. You know, it's been a long year, but you know, you try to do the best you can.
And there is help available for those experiencing a mental health crisis, including the Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare Community Crisis Line. It's a 24-hour, 7 days a week service. Other options, the Family Services Windsor Essex Support Line, and you can also try Distress and Crisis Ontario. You can text or chat online with responders from 2 in the afternoon until 2 a.m., or you can reach them by calling as well. Stellantis is warning that a union blockade at the Windsor Assembly plant could soon shut down operations. The company, formerly known as Fiat Chrysler, says if that happens, employees won't get paid. Workers represented by Unifor Local 444 began blocking an entrance to the plant 2 weeks ago. The union wants staff from Auto Warehousing Company to be rehired. They were responsible for driving newly built minivans away from the factory for shipment. That contract was taken over by Modi Park, whose workers are represented by the Teamsters. Stellantis has released a statement saying, in part, we have advised Unifor leadership that if our Windsor Assembly plant production is impacted by any unlawful blockade, employees will not be paid for the period of any shutdown caused by Unifor's deliberate actions. And adding, it is imperative that Unifor's actions cease immediately so that our Windsor employees, suppliers, and operations are not negatively impacted. The president of Unifor 444 says the company's warning is expected. On social media, he wrote a letter to the members saying in part that the union is acting in good faith, but is prepared to grieve non-payments up to and including arbitration. Moments ago, Windsor City Council voted unanimously to direct Windsor Fire and Rescue firefighters to carry Naloxone. The drug reverses the effects of an opioid overdose. Fire Chief Stephen Lafayette told Council the drug wouldn't be a total solution in the fight against opioid abuse, but that it would still help save lives. He was in favor of them carrying it. Council does not have the authority to direct police to carry naloxone. That comes from the Police Services Board. 3 units in the police service are already carrying naloxone. However, Council passed a motion to make it known that City Council favors the police carry the drug. Mayor Drew Dilkens voted to support the issue, but warned it will eventually lead to firefighters wanting to become what's called fire medics and get paid more. CBC News has obtained surveillance video you may find shocking. Footage of an ordeal that happened at a Toronto hospital. It raises questions about how people with mental health issues are treated when they need medical help. It took one family 2 years to get the video, and now they're going public. But first, a warning to viewers that you may find the hospital surveillance images disturbing. Erica Johnson has the story.
David Pontoni has been told to leave this Toronto hospital, but he can't walk. A nurse escorts him out. He remembers her words clearly.
"Get up, big boy. Get up. You can walk. You can walk. I know you can." I could not walk. I could not get up from that moment.
Pontoni had arrived at Humber River Hospital complaining of excruciating leg pain that had worsened over a month. He also told the hospital he has bipolar disorder but is stable, but says that affected his treatment.
They thought, oh, he's faking it because he's bipolar. He's taking so much medication, so he's just faking it. I was not faking it.
It takes about 20 minutes for Pontoni to make his way to the exit. In agony, he says, and humiliated.
He was begging for help, and nobody helped him. They let him go like a dog outside, and nobody should be treated like that.
A few days later, doctors at another hospital diagnosed Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare disorder where the body's immune system attacks the nerves. It took Pontoni almost 4 months of intensive rehab to learn how to walk again.
How are you feeling?
The nerves, I can't feel the nerves.
Numerous studies have found too often healthcare professionals attribute someone's physical problems to their mental illness. And that, says this psychiatrist, can lead to much higher mortality rates.
This is flawed, and we need to do a better job at seeing people as full human beings.
In a statement, Humber River Hospital said it was deeply troubled by what happened and that involved staff were dealt with accordingly. We've learned the nurse seen in the video was fired. It's unclear whether any doctors were disciplined. David Pontoni still finds it hard to watch what happened, but hopes sharing his story will lead to change. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
An upcoming move by the incoming Biden administration is casting doubt on a smooth start to the Canada-U.S. relationship. The next president is expected to kill the Keystone XL pipeline project on day 1 in office. Many stakeholders of the oil sector are rattled by the news, but there are others who see this as a welcome step to move away from fossil fuels. Hannah Thibodeau reports.
This will be the first hurdle in the new Canada-U.S. relationship. An executive order to cancel the Keystone XL pipeline is expected to come on Joe Biden's first day in office as president.
We cannot imagine a circumstance where the United States would effectively choose to benefit OPEC dictatorships that have spread conflict and undermine global security, rather than partnering with its close democratic ally, Canada.
The pipeline was first announced in 2005 and would carry 830,000 barrels of crude a day from the Alberta oil sands to Nebraska. It would then connect to the original Keystone that runs to U.S. Gulf Coast refineries. Opposition leader Aaron O'Toole released a statement saying, at a time when both countries need to focus on job creation and strengthen bilateral relations, I call on the Prime Minister to immediately reach out to the incoming U.S. administration to stop this from happening. But the NDP and Green leaders say, stop focusing on saving this controversial project and invest in renewable energy.
This is not a surprise given that global markets are making it clearer than ever that the jobs of the future are jobs that help us fight the climate crisis.
Rather than pushing them to reverse the commitment to end the Keystone pipeline, we should be using our diplomacy to work with them to create a North American carbon border.
Many believe there's very little the federal government can do to change the new U.S. administration's mind.
They see the fossil fuel energy in Alberta as being quote unquote dirty oil because it pollutes locally in their view. So this is one where, despite the Prime Minister's efforts to support and promote the very important Alberta energy export, I'm afraid he's not going to be successful.
The Canadian government says it will continue to make the case for the pipeline, pitching that Canadian oil is produced at a higher environmental standard, but also promoting it as a strengthening in the Canada-US energy relationship. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
The pandemic has left people living in Windsor, Essex without access to Detroit. The border has been closed for 10 months now, and for many that means being cut off from American family and friends. But it also means they haven't been able to eat the food they love or shop at their favorite stores. Despite that, some say they've rediscovered places on this side of the border to help fill that void. CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa joins us now for more on this. Jen, what have locals been saying about that border being closed?
Kat, it's been tough. I spoke with a few people who live here in Windsor, and they would cross over to Detroit pretty frequently, and they're really missing out on all of their favorite spots.
And people all over the world come here for movement. They come here for the jazz festival. They come here for the art, the experience of being in Detroit. Like it's its own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's its own.
Bro has lived in Windsor for more than 40 years, and as a child, she would take the bus over to Detroit where she had family and friends. Now as an adult, she's gone there for the art and music scenes. But the last 10 months, there's been none of that. The last time that she crossed over was in March of 2020. And on that weekend, she went to see a concert, she went to a bar with friends, she went grocery shopping, and she was planning to go to the Detroit Institute of Arts, but she never actually made it there. She thought she would go another day, but that other day hasn't actually come yet.
And Jen, what has she done now with all that time that she's been spending here in Windsor?
Well, she's having fun exploring this area, from the street art in downtown Windsor to the farmers market. Another Windsorite that I spoke with said that she also went from crossing over at least once a week to now waving at it from afar.
It was bizarre, you know, and sad, and yeah, but it's just looming there and you can't go. Yeah, so, but yeah, and it keeps getting extended. That's the thing, you know, it keeps getting extended and you're like, okay, I can get over there and have those tacos I want at my favorite little taqueria, you know, but yeah, so, but it did get me to get out in this community here.
Sardinov walked the Riverfront Trail, Drouillard Road, Riverside and Walkerville neighborhoods. She was really missing out on those tacos in Detroit's Mexican town, but she found some pretty good ones here at Birdie's Perch in Leamington. So despite all the things that they were missing out on, they found much of the same right here in Windsor. The one thing they couldn't quite replicate was the people.
Already so much division this year and so many different things. I think having that border closed, it in a way it symbolizes kind of like a closure between these two cities. For so many years, Windsor Detroit has had such a huge connection and relationship amongst its people that live there, businesses, promotion.
And 2020 was a big year for Americans. Joe Biden won the election, the Black Lives Matter movement made strong headway, and Michigan was especially hard hit by the pandemic. For the first time, they couldn't understand all of these moments from that American perspective. So they're really excited to get back and reconnect.
And my first thing I'm going to do, I don't know, probably hug the first American I see. Like, oh, we're back. You know, that would be cool. But that probably won't how it works. The first American I'll see will be the border guard, and I'm sure that I'm sure he won't appreciate him. Like, hey, remember me? I'm sure that won't happen. But it'll be like, yay! I don't know. Probably they'll be dancing in the streets. I'm sure. If not probably by me. Frankly, probably by me.
She added that she actually wants to hug one of her really good friends, and she's hopeful that 2021 is the year for that. Kat.
Thanks so much, Jen. Definitely missing Detroit is something a lot of Windsorites can relate to. The CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa. Here's a live look at that city, Detroit, across the river. It's been pretty gray today, and it looks like that weather will continue over the next few days with the possibility of flurries overnight in the days ahead as well. Colette Kennedy will break it down for us right after the break. Colette Kennedy is here to tell us all about the forecast. Colette, it's been pretty great today. I think we have more of that to look forward to.
Yeah, we do, because we just kind of have this series of weak systems that are going to be moving through one now, but through the next couple of days. And it's done something else to our temperatures. In fact, we've seen a lot of that this winter, where you don't have much of a change in the temperature within the 24-hour period. Like today, we went up to 1 degree. Our low was -1, and we sit right in between at the moment with that temperature at 0 degrees. So just not seeing those overnight lows, especially. We know it's been a mild January, but that's where we really haven't been hitting our seasonal averages. I know that's okay with some folks, but anyway, just showing you winds have been fairly light, those picking up, and gives us a bit of a wind chill as these winds get stronger, and they will be into tomorrow morning and early tomorrow especially. Then we get more of a wind chill factor. Also, we've got the flurry activity that's been pushing through. We had kind of a warm front that's become nearly stationary in the province, and that gives the extra cloud cover and also the intermittent flurries. And I'll show you how this kind of plays out, because the warm to stationary front, as I mentioned, is moving through, and then the cold front will kind of swing through, and then there'll be another dose of flurries with that. Some sunny breaks tomorrow, a few, yes, at times, but mostly it's going to be overcast again. And then another system is kind of going to be on the doorstep to come through a little bit later midweek towards the end of the week. So as they move through, we will see behind this first one some colder air that is going to be coming in on Wednesday. So just know it's going to be kind of a one-day only thing where the temperatures fall off and then they'll rebound. But next weekend, this coming weekend, into next week, it'll finally be more typical of a January in terms of our temperatures. So if you're enjoying the milder ones, enjoy them while we have them. -2 with those winds kicking up. We'll have that wind chill of -9 by tomorrow morning. Again, very little change from the overnight low. Temperatures nearly steady there, but there's the colder air on Wednesday, the warm up Thursday, Friday, and then the beginning of more winter-like weather coming next weekend.
Right, so we got to just stay bundled. Thanks so much, Colette.
Yep, keep the layers handy. You're welcome.
Exactly. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the United States. We'll tell you what the outgoing president and the incoming president did today when we come back. Today is a federal holiday in the United States, marking the birthday of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. It's also designated as a National Day of Service to encourage people to volunteer. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife Jill were in Philadelphia this morning helping load boxes at a food bank. Donald Trump was at the White House and had no public events scheduled. Although there are widespread reports he plans to pardon or commute the sentences of dozens of people in his final hours as president. The U.S. Capitol is under tight security ahead of the inauguration of the Biden presidency on Wednesday. That is it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can check out our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We're on social media as well. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Rick Mercer Report is up next. Have yourselves a great night.